Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Jam Bets NFL Week 12 edition.
There's
I am Tike, joined as always by Mama Mia. We have a couple things we're going to go over in today's video. First thing we're going to do is we're going to recap our plays from Sunday, and then we are going to dive right into Thursday night football. Bills at the Texans. Mama Mia, welcome, and why don't you go ahead and kick us off with your recap?
Thanks, Tyke. Well, I had unfortunately I had picked up that Michael Penix to underperform, which he did, but unfortunately is a partial torn left ACL, so he's out for the season. Wishing him well to get better. Never want to see that happen. So he was supposed to have I think 19.2 fantasy points. He ended up with 7. Um, so he didn't do very well. The other player I had, though, I said he was going to overperform, and he was the highest scoring running back in the week. He had 36 fantasy points. He was supposed to have 10.4. Sean Tucker, Tampa Bay. Holy smokes. 19 carries, 106 yards, 2 touchdowns. Two out of 2 targets caught, 34 yards, 1 touchdown. He was unstoppable, but unfortunately my Bucks did not win. So I wasn't doing good on my prognostication of wins, but I sure did call these two. And how about you? What were you? How'd your guys do on this weekend?
Yeah, you nailed those two. Sean Tucker was an amazing pick. I had two players that I took. First one I took Jalen Warren in Pittsburgh. Every time I feel like I have Pittsburgh's backfield figured out, I don't. Jalen Warren, he had 10 carries for 62 yards, 6.2 yards per carry. Stopped giving him the ball. He did have a slight ankle injury, which is probably why they were overly cautious with him. Gainwell came in. Gainwell didn't run the ball very effectively. He was good, but Gainwell did his damage on the receiving side. Gainwell was the Steelers' number one receiver. He had 8 receptions and 2 touchdowns for 81 yards. Jalen Warren was effective. Probably a little bit of the injury bug there, which kept him from overperforming, as he was doing very well on the ground. Jalen Warren did underperform, and then my other player I picked George Pickens to overperform, and he overperformed. He had 9 receptions, 144 yards, and a touchdown. So I went 1-1. Mamma Mia went 2-2. Pretty good for us there on the Sunday, or 2-0, I think I should say. I said 2-2. I think you went 2-0. So let's go ahead. Let's dive right into Bills Texans Thursday night. Going to be a great game tonight. Bills are favored by 5.5 points, and the over under is set at 43.5. Mamma Mia, what are you looking at?
Well, I try to pick a player from each team, and I'm picking a dark horse here. I'm picking the Bills wide receiver Tyrell Shavers. He played really good last week against Tampa Bay. He had 21 fantasy points, 5 targets, 3 catches, 90 yards, 1 TD. He's projected for 4.1 fantasy points. I know it's a very stingy defense on Houston, but I think the Bills are going to throw the ball a little bit. Now, he filled in for Kean Coleman last week. So if Kean Coleman comes in, he's probably not going to have as many, but they are going to throw the ball. They're going to want to play around and have some fun. But this is going to be Josh Allen's game to run, because you can run on Houston. You don't really throw too much, but this kid's pretty slick. He's got some moxie. I think he's going to overtake Keenan Coleman and Shakir. Shakir banged up, by the way, too. So I think he's going to go over. I'm pretty confident in that. Darnold was able to throw to Najigba in week 11 14 times, caught 8 of them for 123 yards and 1 TD. I don't know if he's Najigba, but he's got Josh Allen throwing the ball to him. So I don't know. What players do you want to focus on, Tyke?
So I'm looking at one player. I'm looking at Jaden Higgins, wide receiver on the Texans. He is only projected 6.2 fantasy yards. He's projected about 32 yards and 3 receptions. I think he'll exceed that. His past 3 games, his route share and his target share have all increased game after game after game. Plus, Davis Mills really seems to like him. Davis Mills in the past 2 games since taking over for Stroud. Jalen Higgins has had 7 targets in both of those games. So Davis Mills seems to like him. On top of that, Jaden Higgins, his past 2 games, he was a 20% first read for Mills. So Mills is looking at him first and throwing him the ball first on 20% of plays when Higgins is out there. So I really like that. On top of that, the Bills are very susceptible to be able to be passed on. The Bills allow the 6th most yards per route ran for outside aligned receivers. They're allowing 2.18 yards per route ran to outside receivers, and they're allowing the 11th most yards per target, which is 8.44. So when they're throwing the ball his way, we should basically expect close to an 8-yard average. So he would need about 4 receptions in tonight's game to be able to exceed his projection. A touchdown alone would pretty much do it as well. And coming into this, Houston is about a 6-point underdog, so I do expect them to have to throw the ball. And Davis Mills is he's very used to throwing the ball at this point. His past 2 games, he's had 41 pass attempts in each one of those games. He is throwing the ball, and he's throwing the ball pretty effectively. The Texans are 2-0 since Mills has taken over, and I did find it interesting that Mills, in both of the games he's passed for 270 more passing yards. That's twice as many as C.J. Stroud in the past 365 days. Stroud only has 1 game where he's exceeded 270 yards. Mills has done it in 2 back-to-back games. So I'm taking Jaden Higgins to overperform. I think the Texans are going to continue airing the ball out. Not fond of their running game. The Bills are a pretty stout defense. Bills are a favorite. I think Jaden Higgins can get us 4 receptions and exceed his yards here.
Okay. Yeah, that's a passing. Sure, there's no doubt about that. So let's see. What's the line on this? 5.5?
5.5, yes.
Okay. What's the under over?
43.5.
Really? Okay. Well, my prediction today for this game is going to be Buffalo 24 to Houston 20. So 44 points, slightly under, but that means that Houston covers. They cover the 5.5. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. How about you?
I think this is where the Texans' fairy tale with Davis Mills ends. I'm taking the Bills to cover the 5.5 points. Bills are a really good team. Texans have a pretty good amount of injuries. If Davis Mills is throwing the ball 41 times, you're probably behind quite a bit. I'm taking the Bills to cover the 5.5.
Okay. All right. I don't know. We'll see. I think the Bills are a little touchy on the road. They're really good at home. So I don't think they'll cover. I think Houston won't win, but they'll cover. So.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We will give us a like, subscribe, drop a comment in there, and then we will see you again for Sunday.
Take care.